Welcome to another episode of the Diaspora Manual. Pretty much, the Diaspora Manual is a step-by-step rather, of moving into a foreign country and what you need to know and the do's and don'ts. So, this is JTN TV and I'll be your host, June Domi. So, on my previous video, I was talking about the first things that you need to pack when you're leaving Kenya or wherever you're coming from. And of course, it's not detail to detail what you're going to put in your suitcase, but they're most important. And I was talking about knowing how to drive before you come here. If you've not watched that video yet, go to my YouTube channel and watch it, okay? Yes, so you guys, when you get here, nobody tells you that you could actually use an international driver's license to drive. By international, I mean if you're from Nigeria, if you're from Kenya, if you're from Congo or Tanzania, wherever you are from, you have a driver's license back at home, you can bring that here and you could there's actually a way you can go about it that you'll be able to use it to drive. Or you can use it to get a temporary driver's license for about 6 months. Yes, that's a tip. Of course, driving is very, very important because driving is what moves you to your next step. Driving is what takes you to work, is what takes you to school, is what you really just have to be so mobile so to be able to survive out here. And another thing in the Diaspora Manual, the people that you keep around you. So people that you keep around you will literally make you or break you. I mean, apart from your host, because your host is going to be the first person who receives you, the person that guides you, that shows you A, B, C, D. And of course, as days goes by, you get to meet people. And, you know, as much as it sounds so cliche, the best place to find the right people or who is going to show you what is where or how to do what is church. I know. Yes, at church, because at church you're gonna find, and everything I'm doing on this Diaspora Manual is according to how I've been able to survive for the last 10 years until today. So, and that's what I want to use with you guys. Of course, through my host, I was able to meet a couple friends through their friends, family friends and stuff like that, their daughters, their sons and all that. And but the difference is I just came here and I came here as an international student. These friends that I'm meeting, they've been here since they were so little, so young. Talking about 5 years, when they were 5 years old, 9 years old. So they are pretty much, they're Americans, yeah? And I realized these were not the people I needed to hang around because they don't understand any sort of struggles for being an immigrant or an international student or coming out here with no family. Absolutely. You know, they're already living with their parents. They're receiving pretty much, it's just like how I used to live in Kenya. And now coming to live here and meeting people who are in a perfect family, if I could say that. So anytime I'll try to have conversation with them, like, where can I get this? How can I be able to do this? Do you know my next step after A, B, C, D? They could not relate, y'all. They could not relate at all. And I was like, these people, they are amazing people. They are amazing friends, but I don't think I'm moving to another step. So yeah, and that's when I realized that the friends that you keep around you when you get here will determine how far you go. Of course, God goes fast, yeah, but yeah. So I didn't lose these friends. I still kept these friends, but I made sure I'm on a mission of finding people who understand my story, pretty much. People who are undocumented just like me, or not like undocumented completely, but of course I was documented because I'm a student, I have a foreign visa and all that, but by undocumented I mean no green card or not a citizen. So I figured those are the people I needed to hang around. And because when 2 or 3 people come together who are going through the same thing, they are able to find out solutions to stuff like you know where you're gonna find a job, you know where you can find accommodation in case you want to leave your host house. You know where to get cheap cars. You know how to get a driver's license, how to prepare for your test, and all that stuff, because there's a lot of learning when you get here. Like every day you are learning something. So in my search, when I was trying to find out the right people for my situation, I discovered church. Church, you guys, as much as it sounds so cliche, church, it saves you a lot when it comes to diaspora. Because I don't know if you've ever heard about stories of people that came here and they got stranded at the airport because their host didn't pick them up. Most of these people are usually helped out by pastors. For real, the pastors at church, you're gonna find people who sympathize with you, because pastors and their wives or their husbands or whatever and their congregation, they already kind of understand some of these things. Some are mothers, some are fathers. They could welcome you to their houses and stuff like that. Yeah, so pretty much what I'm trying to say is at church you'll find a lot of help, for real. So when I started going to church, definitely, and I met people who are going through my same situation. And the thing is, nobody walks out here. Everybody that is walking out here, you can never know their story. You never know their story until they tell you about their story, because nobody has any label on their faces stating their status or something like that. And you know what I mean? But yeah, so church, if you're coming here newly, make sure to find yourself at church. That one is gonna save you a lot. And of course, the good thing about having, like I said on my previous video, your host doesn't want you to go above them. They don't want you to grow more than they have grown. They want to always keep you under them so you can always depend on them. And I think it's just natural human beings, and that's how human beings are. And when I was going through the whole transition process, I came to realize, or rather later on, I've come to understand that you cannot be mad at people who have money and they're not helping you, because these same people, it's probably what they went through. They had to work so hard for their money and nobody was giving them or helping them to get to where they are. So you should not be mad absolutely because your friend has money, or someone who has money and you're trying to find help and they'll not help you. They'll tell you they are broke, or they don't have money, or they ignore you. You have absolutely no right to be angry at somebody like that, because they went through the same too. And human beings, we have a tendency of just wanting to help others when they're dead. So I could come to you right now looking for $10. You tell me you don't have, but if I die tomorrow, you'll be the first one to contribute the $10 for me. It's just life, and you just have to live with it. It's not, it's something that keeps passing on from one generation to another. And when you get to diaspora, you get to understand that a lot, because there's a lot of contribution towards death that go on here. That is going to be a topic for another day. Make sure you are finding the right friends for you. Don't even be in a rush of finding friends who've been here, because those ones, they'll just give you pressure. What your pressure? These ones, they already know their way about the whole city. They know they've already gone through so much. They're hard and they are well ripe. So you're just now starting. So those are not the kind of people you want to hang around. And I'm not saying that you should stay away from them, absolutely. If you know, you know. So yeah, in the diaspora manual, of course, I'll be stating all those things, and I'll be basing everything I'll be speaking on this manual is based on what I went through, what I experienced, and what I learned. And a lot of people here in diaspora, I know by now you've noticed, if you're watching me and you live here, people do not share information. People are so jealous with information. And speaking of information, when you come here, most of us, we already have goals. We know what we want to do. And I'll just state a couple goals. Maybe you want to go to school. Maybe you just want to come here and work, make some money and go back home. Or maybe you're trying to come here and settle down. Maybe you're coming to find a husband or wife. Everybody is just having different goals when they're coming here. But the moment you get here, shoop, go back to zero. You start redesigning your goals again. Because the America you've been thinking when you're in Africa, it's not what you come and find here. The way they tell you it's a land of milk and honey, it is a land of milk and honey, but before you get that honey, before you can drink that milk, you have gone through it all, for real. So your goals, don't tell out your goals. Don't be speaking about your goals to people, because only you will understand what you can achieve. Only you know your capability. By somebody looking at me now, me when I got here already I was judged. I can't cook. I can't even run a house. Like I came from high school 2010, then I stayed in Kenya about 2 years in college and stuff like that, and I came here. So somebody already judging me that I don't know how to cook, that I cannot run a house, I can never be a pharmacist, I can never be so many things. So, and I realized, I'll just, like Nigerians will say, you have to act mumu, for real. Just act like a fool. Just act, when someone's asking, what do you want to do? Just don't say what you want to do. You can come up with anything, or you don't even have to answer, because why do you have to answer anyway? So when you get here, people will tell you what you need to do. First of all, you need to be a nurse. No, you don't need to be a nurse. Says who? That if you're not a nurse, you can never find a job. If you're doing IT, if you're doing accounts, if you're doing whatever, designing, photography, anything, they'll tell you not to do any of those because you'll never find a job. And the thing is, those are things that used to happen 10, 15, 20 years ago when people are coming to the diaspora. Things have changed. The world is evolving. We cannot, all of us cannot be nurses. Who is going to be a photographer? Who is going to be a videographer? Who is going to do accounts? Who is going to be in the IT department? You understand? So keep your options open. Don't just think about being a nurse. There's so much more that can be offered here in America. There, Kenyans or Africans, they will never let you know, or they don't even know themselves, because as soon as they got here, they were already told, hey, nursing school, straight up. And they already got to nursing school, did their years, studied and graduated, became RNs, LVNs, nurse practitioners, whatever it is. So stick to your goal. Stick to that goal, because that what you like to do is what it's gonna take you for. Imagine if you wanna be like me now. I wanna be a YouTuber. Imagine if I went to study nursing. I would be dying in that hospital. Oh my goodness! Like, cause it's not my passion. That's not what I wanna do. But because people that have been here before are telling me to be a nurse, I straight up wanna be a nurse. No. Don't go through that route. Stick to your goal. Know what you want to know. But honestly, when you get here, you have to start from down here. America doesn't care how rich you are back at home, what your background is. When you get here, we are equal. It humbles you. And that's what my parents gave me. And in that $5,000, about $2,000 was for my first time tuition. For my tuition, I was an international student, so tuition is pretty expensive. So I had $3,000 to juggle between ABCD until I find a job, blah, 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 maybe buy some clothes, get some food, go out with my friends and stuff like that. So that money goes so quick. First of all, you don't even understand the money. It would be like 3,000. 3,000 is not Kenya shillings. But before you can get that analogy, you've been wasting your money. You go somewhere, you're trying to buy something, and they'll tell you it's $100. You'll be like, just 100? Okay, we'll pay. Bro, by the time you get to know the money, the conversion, hey, before you can even pay for anything for 100, you have done 1,001 calculations. Trust you me. It's very interesting to move abroad, because when you sit and look back to where you've come from, the mistakes that you did, the funny things that you did, the crazy things you did, you just sit and laugh and just thank God for survival and the far you've come. I'm not trying to scare anyone. In fact, if I had a way, I would bring all of you out here because it's a whole learning process. Then another thing that you need to know is protect your documents, your passport, your birth certificate, all those stuff, because if you lose them, before you can find some more or before you can replace them, that's a whole stress. I really don't even need to elaborate that, because if you know again, you know. So protect your documents as much as you can. All I wanted to talk about this vlog is finding the right friends before you can even go anywhere, because that's where you're gonna start. So remember, go to church, find a church when you get here, because anytime you have a problem, like me, imagine you get here and after a couple months or something, your host kicks you out. Where do you start? If your friends are people who are living with their parents, how will those ones help you? Or your friends are people who are married, they have families. And let me tell you one thing that people will always tell you when you're trying to look for shelter or help. Oh, I have to go talk to my wife. Oh, I have to go talk to my husband. My kids, they will give you all sort of excuses. And imagine, right now, or at that moment, it could be very cold or very hot. You don't even know where to start. You don't have a car. You don't have money. You don't know where to go. And somebody outright tells you that I cannot be able to host you. And it's okay. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you go to a pastor at a church, definitely there's gonna be somebody who will come through for you. It may be for a week or 2 or 3 days, 4 days, but it's something than sleeping on the streets. A lot of Africans sleep in the streets, by the way, at the bus stations, at the train stations, all over. I'll give you a scenario as I wind up this vlog, and to understand why I'm saying it's so important to find a church when you get here. I used to work at an African market. It's a kind of Kroger model. It has a beauty supply in it. It has a meat section, a kitchen, grocery, etc. And we hire a lot of people. We used to hire a lot of people coming from Africa newly. And man, that moment, that's when I realized how important it is to be, how do I say it? Like, that's when I learned about so many things that people go through that you never understand, especially somebody like me who didn't have a very crazy welcoming. And my first couple months were pretty easy, and I would say I was never stressed at all, apart from just trying to transition and adjust in culture shock. It was easy, but there are people who start the struggle as soon as they land. So this guy came with his family from Nigeria, and he had a wife and a kid, and the wife was pregnant. I'm talking about a doctor from Nigeria. Yes. So they landed in New York, and when they landed in New York, their host did not pick them up. So 1, 2, 3, you find your way, and they got a pastor who helped them to find shelter for a couple of days. This host that was telling this man to come from Nigeria to leave his job as a doctor, that he's gonna come here and find jobs who make money double what he's making, and who will not take such a good deal. Imagine somebody like me calling maybe a classmate of mine that I know from back then in Kenya, and I start telling them, oh, come, you make money, blah, blah, blah. And they come here and wapi, it's nowhere to be found. So long story short, this guy got to New York, and he didn't have anywhere to go. He didn't even find that job. Remember, the wife is pregnant and they have a young baby, and they are homeless. Somebody told this guy to leave the family in New York and come to Dallas, to Texas, that he's gonna get a job. And the job was gonna be where I used to work. It's an African market. So the guy came and he got to the bus station in Dallas downtown. Again, he didn't know where to start. He didn't know who to pick him up. And he stayed there for a couple of days until another African who was catching a bus came by, and they were able to talk, and he was able to find the African market they were telling him about. And he went, the African market has a couple branches. A very wealthy Nigerian man running that business. Yes, I will tell you guys later about that business. I'll even take you there so you can see it. So they went to the Dallas location, and the Dallas location, they didn't have an opening, so he was sent to the Arlington location, and that's where I used to be. And this guy, he'll look very intelligent to me. When you're an intelligent person, you're able to tell somebody who is intelligent too. But he looked very troubled. Again, I did not even need to ask what is going on or what's up, but I knew anytime you come here newly from Africa, you go through it all. So we spoke, and I gave him a job, and he started working. So that day, I happened to be the one shutting down the store that day, closing down. And whenever you're closing down, definitely all the employees, we close at 10. So by 11:30, all the employees have left. I've done my balance sheets. I've done my everything. It's my time to go home now. So I close the doors of the store and I go out and I spot my employees sitting out there. And I'm like, hey, you okay? Are you waiting for Uber? Is everything okay? Because I don't feel safe leaving you here, because I'm the last person living here and I don't feel safe leaving you here. And he was like, oh no, actually I'm not waiting for Uber. I just want to rest here until tomorrow so I can resume my shift. What? You gonna stay here in this cold until morning? Don't you have a place to stay? And then he started telling me his story. You guys, believe it or not, I started crying, literally, because what? And I didn't know what to do, and I didn't even have money to get him a hotel or something like that. And I knew no matter what, I'm not gonna leave this man here. So I told him, you know what? Come with me to my house. And I took him to my house. He slept there overnight. In the morning, I took him back to work. And I was like, I'm the manager of this store. I cannot be having employees sleeping at my house in the name of I'm trying to help them. So I need to figure out something. I called another friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, and I told him, hey, this and this is what is going on. I met this guy at work, and he's willing to work to help his family because, like I said, wife is pregnant, another small baby. They need food, they need shelter, they need all those things. And this guy is willing to work. So what can we do about this guy? And it was like, tough one, no, my sister. And I was like, I know it's tough, but we gotta do something because I cannot take this man to my house again today. So I was thinking, what do I do? And I remember there's one motel by the office. And I drove there to find out how much it will cost for 1 week before this guy gets his paycheck. Because, you know, in diaspora, you get paid weekly or bi-weekly, depending on who you work for, where you work. So I went there and I found out it was going to be about 200 and something for a week. So I called this guy. I was like, hey, I can come up with 120. Do you think you can come up with 80? And he was like, oh yeah, let's do it. So we came up with the money, 200. We went to Walmart. We bought a couple of stuff, a little bit shopping, and I told this guy, hey, I know as much as I want to host you and keep you in my house, the situation just doesn't allow me for the fact that I'm the manager and you're the employee, so I don't want anything, or, you know, just trying to protect my sport and stuff like that. And again, I had a small baby in the house. My daughter was about 6 months or something. It was just a lot. So, and I surprised, me and my friend, we surprised this guy with the hotel room, with shopping, because they were both Nigerians, so he knew what exactly we need. We bought a couple Indomies. The motel that we got had a kitchen, a small kitchen and stuff like that. It was like a Nansuit or something like that. And we put this guy here. So guys, imagine how many people out there are sleeping in the streets because of a bad host, because of a host who didn't show up to pick them up. Again, it boils down to, I don't know, humanity. I mean, when there's something about Africans, when they get to the US, they change a lot. I don't know, because in Kenya or in Africa, I don't think people, let me speak about Kenya because I'm Kenyan. I don't think people behave like that. So you guys, embrace yourself for a lot of stories. This is another episode of Diaspora Menu, and we'll be doing this often, okay? Keep it here. Make sure to subscribe if you've not subscribed yet, and hit on that like button and share this video with somebody who is working towards coming here, or somebody who is already here, and just your family. Thank you so much for staying with us. Bye.